Jared Hinkle. I read Scythe. Can you read that? For Mr. Grisky's book club, book group things. I really liked it. So it goes. So the book, in the book, girl named Citra is just normal girl living in the age of post-mortality, which is when like sickness, disease, murder, all that stuff's completely gone. If you die, you can be revived, unless a thing called a Scythe decides to kill you, which is what they call gleaning, where they have to kill you to keep the population down. Yeah, basically. So, Citra is just, at her house, eating dinner, when a Scythe in a big white robe walks in. All the Scythes wear the robes. And, customary thing, let the Scythe stay, eat dinner, whatever they want. So he eats dinner, says it's good, and takes one of Citra's mother's kitchen knives to go clean their neighbor. And then he comes back, Citra throws it away. That's over with Citra, at least right now. And then Rowan, just a normal kid, he goes to school, he arrives a little late, and then there's the same Scythe. Walks in, says, "I'm here to see Kyle Warlock. And then, so he goes to glean him in the principal's office, but no one's there to see him, say hear his last words, whatever. So Rowan goes there, sees him, watches him die, which is a little edgy per se. So then Rowan and Citra they don't know each other prior to any of this. They both get a letter, says that they're going to go to the opera at like 7 p.m. They get there, they see each other, they exchange small talk, whatever. They try to grasp at straws, trying to see why they're there. And then the same Scythe that they both met in that white robe walks in, introduces himself as Scythe Faraday. Scythes are named after like scientists, like patrons, kind of, to them. So he wants both of them as an apprentice, which they both kind of deal with in their own different ways, but eventually they accept it. Because Rowan doesn't really care, it doesn't really enjoy his family per se, and then Citra does it so that her brother Ben, which is really young, can get immunity, which means that Scythes can't clean him, which means he basically can't die unless he wants to. So, anyway, with the Scythe and everything, they both accept it. That you live with Scythe Faraday, and he teaches them everything. Thing called Killcraft, which is how to kill. He takes them on gleanings. Has Rowan pick someone to glean out of a certain number of different things, which narrows it down eventually to 3 people. He picks one, and then they glean them all together. They have to master Killcraft. They, learn basic school, scholarship, scholar things like mathematics, English language arts, history, and then they also learn about weapons and statistics, which is what Scythe Faraday really gleans based off of. Anyway, and then they go to the first conclave, which is the big meeting with all the Scythes. They get asked questions. Both Rowan and Citra get them wrong. The question, which Citra lied about. Scythe Curie, one of the Scythes that was asking the questions, asked, "What's the worst thing you've done?" And then Citra said, "Oh, I pushed somebody down and they broke their neck," which was a lie. Come back to that. Anyway, so then they both get it wrong. Everybody's done. And then this one dude named Scythe Goddard, he's a real character. Let's put it that way. He gets up and says, "What if the apprentices, whichever one loses, has to be gleaned? It's accepted, it's not accepted, but it still passes. So then Rowan or Citra is gonna have to die and kill their friend." And then Scythe Faraday kills himself, gleans himself, so they don't have to be put through that. But Scythe Curie and Scythe Goddard adapt to Rowan and Citra. Scythe Curie gets Citra, Scythe Goddard gets Rowan. Scythe Goddard was originally going to get both, but Scythe Curie stepped in and said, nah, let's not do that. Sorry, I'm sick. Anyway, so they're Scythe Curie is teaching Citra about everything. And then Citra is like, wait a minute, what if Faraday didn't actually glean himself? He was killed to look like he would glean himself. So then she goes on the Thunderhead, which is the sentient internet government thing. It controls everything now. It sees everything. It's non-corrupt everything, so it's like the perfect thing, right? So then she goes on there with like Scythe Curie's like powers and stuff, and then she researches everything. She goes over everything about Scythe Faraday, the last events that she could find. She only found before it, and found that the people that were witnessed him die were bribed with immunity, or so they were called, the same day. Anyway, so then at the next conclave, Citra brings us up to Rowan, who's been under Scythe Goddard's wing, perhaps, with his other, henchmen, and they're responsible for mass gleaning, which is something that Scythes usually don't do, but it's something that they do, because they like it for some reason. So as mass gleaning is, before Scythes have a certain number of gleanings they need to do. They have a quota. But what they do is they go out and kill everyone at one spree for the entire year, so then they don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year, so they, party, whatever. Rowan doesn't really agree with this, but he doesn't vocalize it, because he would get threatened, beat up, even, gleaned or something, if it came that bad. Sorry. And then, so they're at the next conclave, and then, since Scythe Curie can't question them, Scythe Mandela questions them, which he's very physically prone, so he has him doing Bo-Katan fighting, which is a form of fighting, kind of like martial arts, but deadlier, because you can kill with it. Kill with arts. Anyway, so Rowan tries to throw the match, but then he winds up actually beating Citra, because Citra throws the match. So then everybody's proud, because Rowan, he took her down. Then he went to go snap her neck, and then he snapped her neck, but that'd be disqualification. And then she went to the revival center, which brings people back to life, because, dead's not really a thing unless they're gleaned. So then, they go, and then Citra is actually blamed for Scythe Faraday's murder. Bunch of weird random evidence, like a journal entry from when a certain person walked into his room. Didn't say it was Citra, didn't say who it was. A girl walked into his room, and it scared him, so he wrote that in a journal entry. But so she escaped I believe Deanna Kretz, when she was being held in for questioning and everything, she jumped off the building, which was a 19-story building and he was living on top of it in a log cabin. She jumped off of it, splattered, and then was taken to a revival center. But then she was broken out by Scythe Curie, and they were, talking and stuff about, why it's not right that she was being blamed for his murder. And then it turns out that Scythe Curie fell in love with Scythe Faraday, and they were lovers for 7 years? No, 70 years. 70 years. So 70 years. And then the High Council found out of Scythes and gave them each 7 deaths. So they were killed, brought back to life, killed, so on and so forth. For 7 times. And then, they didn't associate with each other. They just, greeted each other at conclaves and stuff. And then, so, while Citra's in the revival center, half dead but not really, still conscious, the Thunderhead speaks to her and tells her name, Gerald Dam Van Gans, which she goes looking for, finds him living in Amazonia, which is their version of the Amazon, I guess, in South America. Completely different names for everything. And then she goes there, she hides out, she escapes people, everything. And then she finds him, just a shadow. She takes out her pistol that she was holding, aims it right at his knee, and blows the kneecap out. So she's like, you're going to pay for what you've done, because she thought that guy is the one who killed Scythe Faraday, when in reality, it was Scythe Faraday. Whatever. Anyway, so then she's like, oh my goodness. So then she fixes him up and everything. Then she goes back to the thing, and she's not guilty, because Scythe Curie has friends in high places. She explained to them, oh, that journal entry's about me, remember? They're like, oh yeah, so that's not really anything about Citra, so she's innocent. So she gets back and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. So then she gets some more training, barely anything. So she's back at the next conclave. So then their final test, they go into a room. There's the Council of Bejeweling, which has, just Scythe, Mandela, and some other Scythes that aren't really important to the plot. So then there's a line of weapons. So there's a pistol, a shotgun, a Bowie knife, and a vial of poison, like a poison pill. And then there's a box, like a ballot box. And then so Scythe Curie's not with her, so they tell her to. So then they say, we have a very special person for you to glean. She doesn't know who it is. They're gagged and tied up. So then another Scythe walks in, pulls the bag off the person's head, and it's her little brother Ben that she was trying to save. But then the Scythe reassures her that after she gleans him, he will be taken to a revival center and revived. Whatever. So then she draws to the ballot box and pulls out a knife. Pulls out, a piece of parchment that says knife. So she has to use the Bowie knife to kill her younger brother. So and then she does it the way that Scythe Curie taught her, with a quick, painless jab up through the ribcage into the heart, which only lasts for about 3 seconds. They're dead, and there's barely any blood. It's a very emotional moment for her. Yada, yada, yada. Citra's mad that Scythe Curie didn't tell her. Scythe Curie's trying to explain, oh, it's because it would, make the event harder. So then she asks, well then, how did Roman do it? And then she said that he pulled the trigger on Tiger, which is his friend, before the Scythes even finished listing the rules. So then they get taken to the big semicircle like thing with all the sites sitting in it, like the I want to say Coliseum, but not. It's like in the style of Coliseum with a bunch of seats and then a big like thing. So then, out of Rowan and Citra, only one of them gets the ring. The other has to clean each other. So then Citra gets the ring, which is crazy. And then she picks a Scythe name, Scythe Anastasia, like from the Russian family of Tsars, which they're like, oh, that's not right, because she did many bad things. And she was like, well, not necessarily. Maybe she was trying to do something good for humanity for once, while doing somewhat unethical things, but not like genocide or whatever. Not like massive bad things, like small things. So then she says that that's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. I want to change the world for the better. So then people are clapping and oh yeah, whatever. She used some weird like whatever excuse. So then she says you have to glean Rowan. The Scythe say you have to glean Rowan. So then when she does it, she punches him in the face, square in the mouth, with the ring on her finger. Keep that in mind. So then she does that, right? Says that's for breaking my neck. And then when she pulls up a knife to go slit his throat, the ring's glowing red, and all the Scythe's rings are glowing red, which means she can't kill him, because when she punched him in the nose, kissed the ring. Or he touched his lips, pulled off, kind of like kissing the ring, which grants immunity. So he has immunity for a year, and she tells him to go run out the door, there's a car waiting for you. He bolts out the door, running out of the conclave, right? He jumps into the car. And who's driving it? Scythe Faraday, which, plot twist. So then the last journal entry, the last thing written in the book is the journal entry from Scythe Anastasia, which is discussing that there's a new person in the world that's going around killing corrupt Scythes using fire, and people started calling him Scythe Lucifer, even though he's not a Scythe. Which, and then she says, I hope that he realizes who I am and what I am, which alludes and prefaces it to that it's Rowan Scythe Lucifer. Done. End of the book. Perfect. So, I like the author's use of suspense in the book, like the knocking on the doors, the building up to moments. Perfect. And Neal Shusterman, the guy who wrote the book, he's actually a really good author. He knows when to put comedy in or not. There's some dynamic characters, flat characters, whatever. Then I'd recommend you check it out. It's a really good book. That's all I have to say. It's a really good book. Check it out. Except I kind of spoiled it to you. Read it for yourself. It's honestly a really great read. Bye. Thank you.